Today is October the 25th. Did Judas have to betray Jesus? Well, he certainly did betray Jesus, but was he obligated to? Let's read about that in John 13. We're going to read 5 through 11, skip a paragraph, and pick it back up in 21 to 30. Then Jesus poured water into a basin, and he began to wash the disciples' feet, to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter and said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" And Jesus answered, "You don't know now what I'm doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You'll never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Well then, not my feet only, but my hands and my head." And Jesus said to him, "One who is bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but he's entirely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him, and the reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." Skipping forward to verse 21. After saying this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and declared, "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he was speaking. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining close to his heart. Simon Peter motioned to him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So while reclining next to Jesus, he asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It's the one to whom I give this piece of bread when I've dipped it in the dish." So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. After he'd received the piece of bread, Satan entered into him. Jesus said to him, "Do quickly what you're going to do." Now, no one knew why he had said this to him. Some thought that because Judas had the common purse, Jesus was telling him, "Buy what we need for the festival," or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. So here in this passage, Jesus begins to wash the disciples' feet. He comes to Peter. Personally, I think Peter was the first one that Jesus came to. Peter was concerned about Jesus's honor. And he said, "Oh no, you're not going to wash my feet." But Jesus was concerned about Peter's cleanliness, his ability to enter into God's presence. And he says, "I have to." During this time, Judas was also there. Judas also received Jesus washing his feet. Jesus is saying to Judas, "I want you to be clean when you enter God's presence." In Numbers chapter 8, verses 5 to 22, the Levites are also cleansed by water so that they can be in God's presence and his service. Let's read Numbers 8, 5 to 22.
Numbers 8, verses 5 through 22, New Revised Standard Edition. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the Levites from among the Israelites and cleanse them. Thus you shall do to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle the water of purification on them. Have them shave their whole body with a razor and wash their clothes, and so cleanse themselves. Then let them take a young bull and its grain offering of choice flour mixed with oil, and you shall take another bull for a purification offering. You shall bring the Levites before the tent of meeting and assemble the whole congregation of the Israelites. When you bring the Levites before the Lord, the Israelites shall lay their hands on the Levites, and Aaron shall present the Levites before the Lord as an elevation offering from the Israelites, that they may do the service of the Lord. The Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the bulls, and he shall offer the one for purification offering, and the other for a burnt offering to the Lord, to make atonement for the Levites. Then you shall have the Levites stand before Aaron and his sons, and you shall present them as an elevation offering to the Lord. Thus you shall separate the Levites from among the other Israelites, and the Levites shall be mine. Therefore the Levites may go in and do service at the tent of meeting, once you have cleansed them and presented them as an elevation offering. For they are undeservedly given to me from among the Israelites. For I have taken them for myself, in place of all that open the womb, the firstborn of all the Israelites. For all the firstborn among the Israelites are mine, both human and animal. On that day that I struck down all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I consecrated them for myself, but I have taken the Levites in place of all the firstborn among the Israelites. Moreover, I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and his sons from among the Israelites, to do the service for the Israelites at the tent of meeting, and to make atonement for the Israelites, in order that there may be no plague among the Israelites for coming too close to the sanctuary. Moses and Aaron and the whole congregation of the Israelites did with the Levites accordingly. The Israelites did with the Levites just as the Lord had commanded Moses concerning them. The Levites purified themselves from sin and washed their clothes, and Aaron presented them as an elevation offering before the Lord. And Aaron made atonement for them to cleanse them. Thereafter the Levites went in to do their service in the tent of meeting, in attendance on Aaron and his sons. As the Lord had commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so they did with them.
So the disciples here are just like the Levites. Jesus wants to prepare them for two things: to be able to enter into God's presence and to be able to enter into his service. He tells Judas, I want you to enter into my service too. Jesus washed Judas's feet. He wanted Judas to be clean as well. The problem was Judas didn't want that. Satan had already entered into him, and Judas wanted things his own way. So what do we do about this today? Cleanse yourself to serve him. Confess whatever sin there is. Look to him to prepare you for his service. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. If you live in the Greenwood, Indiana area and you're looking for a church, come check out New Hope Church. We're at 5307 West Fairview Road. Our Sunday morning service begins at 10 a.m. I'd love to see you there.